Hello, welcome back to Morning Reflections. It's Wednesday the 18th of November for me. Whenever it is for you, I hope that today's a good day. Yesterday we had a significant birthday in the house. In fact, two significant birthdays, because our guinea pigs turned one. You may have worked out by now, if you've been paying attention to what's behind me, if I've got a bit boring, or maybe I've pointed them out, but behind me over here you see our guinea pig hutch. And I get to share the study with them because the study's quite big. It was the living room in the house that we live in. It's now my study. Now we do have another living room, so the family do get to lie on the sofa. But because it's a study, there's quite a lot of room. And when we decided about a year ago, a bit more, to get some guinea pigs, we decided that the cage would go in here. So I'll introduce you to the birthday boys. These are the birthday boys. Derek and Jamie. Jamie is the blonde and Derek is the kind of brindle one, currently being stood on by his older brother. They were very small when this picture was taken. They've grown quite a bit now, and we love them. We love them. They are part of our life. They because they were in the house, because they look straight through the doorway into the kitchen and living room area, they're often sitting at the little cage, looking out. They are programmed to respond with enormous volume and squeaking and excitement to the sound of the fridge door, to any kind of rustling packet, because that probably means kale or something else to eat. They respond incredibly to Rebecca's voice. They hear her coming down the stairs and start squeaking then. They are delightful. They each have their own little personalities. Jamie is definitely would be the chess champion if the two of them were playing an intellectual game. But they are just lovely, and they have been for us a very important part of our lockdown experience, because we've had their little lives to love and to care for and to take part in and to enjoy. That might sound really trivial, I don't know, but it's fundamental to our human nature. In the best of our human nature, that we care for others and care for things, and the tangible expressions of that care are a huge part of us knowing ourselves, part of our mental health, part of our spiritual health, part of us feeling like we're making a contribution, lifting us out of our own lives into the lives of other people and other things, so that our lives are larger and greater, and we get enormous satisfaction as human beings from the act of helping, the act of caring, the act of loving. It's part of who we are. We also get loved in return. And I'm not sure that our guinea pigs really love us. They certainly know us. They're more active and more sociable when we're in the room and chatting to each other. They are part of our little tribe, and they know that. A colleague of mine at Central Methodist Church, Judith Stoddart, who works with me there. Judith is a deacon in the Methodist Church. Judith has the most wonderful golden retriever called Moses, who came with her and her family just over 3 years ago to work alongside me and to be part of our life in York as a Methodist church. Moses is a real character, but Moses also has been an enormous source of comfort, support and love. Judith's husband David took his own life just 2.5 years ago now, and for her, for their 3 children, for the wider community, for their friendship and family circles, that has been devastating and continues to be, even though they are emerging from that and doing so in a way that those of us who watch them just marvel at. And Moses became a hugely important part of Judith's therapy, and she's quite open about that. I'm not telling you secrets. If you knew her on Facebook, you would see how much she's shared about the reality of David's death, and also how much she's shared about the reality of Moses' blessing. She and I have a mutual friend who has, with her dogs, with her ponies, in a number of ways, offered her animals as therapy animals, had them trained to be alongside people who've been traumatized, to go into old age homes, to those who have dementia and other challenging degenerative diseases that might affect all kinds of things in their life, but who can respond to the warmth and the love of a friendly animal and give love back as part of knowing themselves all over again. So beyond guinea pigs and golden retrievers, we have each other. And I know, because of all the conversations I've had, one of the constant streams through 8 months of conversation is how impoverished our lives are because we have not been able to give love to each other, to give care, to give human presence to each other in the ways that we would long to do. Yesterday I was out for a walk, and I walked past the house of a friend of mine who is very ill again, and who knows that for herself her time on earth is limited, and just seeing her face and saying hello briefly was both wonderful and heart-wrenching for me, because I couldn't go in and have a cup of tea, I couldn't do more, I couldn't give her a hug, couldn't do any of the things I would otherwise have done to care for, be alongside, celebrate the life of, listen to, take part in the stories of someone who I've known for 15 years, thereabouts, in York. It's hard. It's hard for those of us who need others, well, for all of us in the times when we've needed other people to care for us, whether we asked for that or not. It's especially hard when we cannot love each other in all the ways we would like to. We cannot just be with each other in all the ways that we would like to. And we feel the pain of that. A year and a bit ago, Rebecca's grandmother died in Germany. We went across to see her shortly before she died. She was a very matter-of-fact woman. She said, "Don't come for my funeral. Come and see me before I die, because coming for the funeral is a waste. I'm gone by then." And so we went to see Mariana as she lay in her bed. Just a slip of a woman. Just so diminished in every way, but still very much alive. And as we talked to Lucas about that, who was then 4, heading for 5, and we talked about the sadness of that. As we talked about just a year ago, the fact that we had a hamster before we had guinea pigs, and the hamster lived for 2 weeks and then died. We talked about sadness, we talked about grief. And Rebecca and I said to Lucas that the way he was feeling, the way we were all feeling about Mariana, the way we were feeling about our hamster, even though those things aren't necessarily to be placed in the same scale, that some of those feelings were the best kind of sadness, the best kind of pain. If we were going to experience sadness and pain, let it be the sadness and pain of love and loss, and missing someone, missing the opportunity, missing the presence of people we love. So today, I want to say to you, not that you should be grateful for the pain that you may be feeling, that I think we all are feeling, because we cannot care for each other, we cannot love each other, we cannot reach out to each other, we cannot hold each other, we can't. It's gone on for a long time. In the beginning it was perhaps understandable, and we were all quite philosophical about it. But now it's wearing us down. And as the winter approaches, even more so, we just long for the giving and receiving of contact, warmth, depth, intimacy, love, care, listening, which can happen on the telephone, can happen over a video screen, can happen in other ways, but never quite as satisfactorily as it does in person. Whatever grief, sadness, pain or loss you feel today, because you cannot care for others, or because somehow you feel like you've lost touch with a part of yourself in the depths of those relationships, as others have loved and cared for you and helped you know how precious and special you are. I hope that is at least bearable, and that if nothing else, we are incredibly, deeply, powerfully resolved to come out of this coronavirus time and not waste any opportunities to love each other, to care for each other, to show that to risk that, to not hold back, to not second guess ourselves or other people, but just to give ourselves to each other and receive each other, and let that love help us know who we are and what matters most and where we fit into the world. In our church community, we feel that very deeply. We feel very deeply the loss of our gathering together. And as much as we've done well on Sundays and Wednesdays on Zoom and in other ways, it's not the same. And we long for a return. And that longing is a sign of God's goodness in our lives and the goodness we want to give and to share. To bless you, whatever today feels like, as you live with the loss and the grief and the pain of our circles of care being so tiny and so ineffective compared to what they were before, perhaps. We bless you too in your and my resolve to make sure that we never take for granted the ability to love each other again in every way that we can. Hope you have a good day. Bless you.